Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at our new Diamond C deck over tilt that we just got. Alright, so this is our new Diamond C deck over tilt. It's a full deck over with no beaver tail because the whole deck tilts. Full length tilt from front to back, so there's no stationary on this particular model. I think all the Diamond C's are that way. Some basically offer like a 4-foot stationary in the front, and then this back would tilt. I wanted a full deck tilt, which is kind of unsure about it still. I'm unsure about either way, so, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is a 24-foot deck, 8.5 feet wide. I think it's 102 inches by 24 feet with stake pockets and a rubber rail. And I think these are called chain spurs here. You wrap your chain around them when you're hooking your binder and stuff up rather than going to the pocket. Nice fit and finish here, with pinstriping, reflectors, and all that sort of nice jazz here. Marker lights and stuff. This trailer is equipped with HDV tongue lid. Offers a ton of space compared to the other setup. Hydraulic lift on the gate here with the air cylinders, battery, pump and motor and pump and reservoir. Good, a lot of space down here for chains and binders. I'll have quite a bit of those coming in soon. Also comes with a remote control, wireless, and a wired remote, inverter or a charger system for it, and lots of room in the box drains as well, which is pretty good. So I'll start right at the front here with what we spec'd out. We opted for the pintle ring opposed to a cast coupler because we like to switch trucks, and sometimes we always don't have the correct ball on there. All standard equipment here with chains and wiring, safety chain, HDV tongue lid. I just talked about that with the charger. The nice thing about this lid here is you can put something on top of it too. Generator, or I guess a toolbox or something like that, or even maybe for us a wheelbarrow. So it's usable space now as well. You can secure stuff down too. We opted for twin jacks. Part of the reason, the main reason for that was clearance on the tongue is what we're looking for. We don't need the capacity of two 12,000-pound jacks, but we needed the space up here because the jack would come up here if there was a jack in right there. And then with our truck and the overhang on the truck, we wouldn't be able to really make that work. So 2 jacks that are a little farther back allows us to turn easier with our flatbed and our dump trucks that have some overhang. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute with another truck. It's got the locking pin here to release the deck. Got a spare tire with this one, matching black. Just the regular pine deck, nothing fancy. One thing I do like about the deck so far is that everything's flush. I'll show you on my other trailer, it's not flush, just, I don't know what, over top of the fender here is actually a lip. So everything's really nice and flush, no lips. Back to the end here, diamond plate grip on the bottom. Pretty sturdy. I mean, I'm pushing on this, it ain't moving. Light bar and bumper across the back that folds up real nice. Spring loaded, so it pops back down. All LED lights. Very, very nice. Pretty strong edge here. There's a tube. You can see the end of it right there. or yeah, it's a cylinder type tube that goes all the way through for some reinforcement. Probably helps with getting stuff rolling over the edge. Self-draining tubes. Slipper spring suspension. Torsion axles was an option. I think the price point was the turnoff. In that particular case, we opted for two 8,000 pound axles, giving the overall trailer a GVWR of 18,000 pounds. I don't know the payload for sure. I'm thinking somewhere around 13 to 14,000 pounds on this 24-foot deck, which is more than we need for hauling our skid steers that are about 9,800 pounds, 10,000 pounds. So it gives us a little bit more wiggle room for an attachment, or just to be a little bit beefier than what we need. These are oil bath axles, so no grease. You just got to keep an eye on the gear oil inside. With the upgraded axles, we got heavier duty tires, 16 ply tires. I mean, these things are nice. These are some monstrous tires. I mean, this is like a truck tire, which is awesome. Regroovable as well. So hopefully these will last a really, really long time, because these are beefy. I mean, look at the nuts on these things. Those are huge. Those are like 1-inch nuts. Wheel nuts. Those are massive. Slipper spring suspension back there. So overall, this trailer's built pretty beefy for our landscaping needs. Well, let's pop this deck up and take a look underneath at all the fit and finish. All right, I'm gonna go in here, grab my remote control. Quick release here. Ow. Fucking pins. All right, so with this this remote control, I'm told if you put, I've already messed with it, but it sometimes goes into sleep mode, so then you got to push up and down together, and that'll wake it up. In this case, I've already had it up, so it's not a big deal. But remote control seems kind of silly, but if you're trying to drive a piece of equipment up the trailer and then bring it down so it doesn't roll back off, this is where the remote comes in handy. Because I could easily stand at the trailer right now and lift it up, but coming back down is where my problem is going to be. So let's go up. Well, that is pretty convenient. I just noticed something here. All right, so now it's all the way up. But when I noticed that, when I did that, it lifts the whole trailer off the ground. Look at that, huh? That's cool. That means if I had to change a tire, I don't even need a jack anymore. I just need the gun to change the tire. Jack, I mean, as long as there's no load on it, obviously. All the weight gets transferred to the back, and I guess even if I put a block, I could carry a block with me or something to put back there. That would give me some real lift. That's sweet. I don't know if that's by design, but that's pretty cool if I need to change a tire roadside. So let's taking a look underneath this deck real quick. We got, are these I-beam? Yeah, they are. I-beam cross members. I've never seen that before. The cross members are actually little I-beams. 3-inch I-beams. I've never seen that before. Interesting. Where's all the screws? Oh, there they are. Wow, I've never seen that before. Tiny little I-beam. It's got a whole I-beam frame, like this by 8-10 inches probably. Right? And then it's got like a 3-inch. I've never seen that before. That's really cool. And they're on 16-inch centers for the most part, besides like at the end here. You can see there's one more in there to fit everything together. It does have a little kickstand in it too. Cool. Alright, we're going to safety first. Got my kickstand up. 2 hydraulic cylinders still well. They look like they're probably 2 inches. Like a 24-inch stroke or something like that. Got all our hard hydraulics coming out. Look at this. All secured in this nice channel. Spring-loaded securement. Holes. Every hole's got a grommet. Grommet, that one's a little small, but still a grommet, I guess. Wiring on the inside of the frame rail, grommet. They're all secured with these spring-loaded things that are pretty nice. Going back here, here's a piece of 3-inch channel. Heavy-duty springs, like 6 leafs in that pack, which is pretty nice. Big old fat drums. I don't know if you can see in there. Those drums are huge. These are one of the reasons was why I went with a 8,000 pound axle versus like a 7. A carrying capacity, but B brake size. The brakes on this, the width of them is like 3 3/8 versus just a 2-inch, 2x12. So that, and even the pad thickness is like, I don't know how much, maybe ½ an inch compared to like, I don't even know, well, they're real thin on like a 1,000 pound axle. So hopefully longevity on brakes will be what I'm really looking forward to. Not blowing through brakes every single year because the amount of towing that we do. So much wider, fatter. You can look them up. It's like an 8,000 pound brake assembly for a trailer, and compare it to like a 7,000 or a 6,000 pound. It's unbelievable how much more meat there is. So here's a deck down on the ground. Pretty good knife edge. I mean, for what it is, I think you can still get a skid steer that was not working up on this deck. Nice big wide deck. It just like, it's so nice. They did such a good job building this. I did find a missing screw though, or a screw that was sticking out. So the nice thing about this remote control is you can drive up the deck to wherever you wanted. This is probably where it gets a little sketch. Drive up the deck. I'm in the cab of the machine. Bring the thing right down. Now I don't think a skid steer might not roll off this thing, but my wheel loader that doesn't have a working parking brake, oh, yeah, that probably would roll off. So that's the nice thing we need. Nice thing about this remote is that you can bring the thing down and stay in the cab. You also notice it has power up and down, so it's not gravity fed, which is kind of nice, but kind of like because I'm relying on a battery to be working all the time. But with our dump trailer that we've had, the dump trailer we've had for 2 years, we haven't had a battery issue yet. I've been just taking it out for the winter time because we don't use it, and storing it inside. Also got a winch mounting plate up here in the front if we wanted to put a winch on here later on. I don't know if that we would or when we will. Could be a couple of years. But it was cheap. It was like 70 bucks to have it ready to go. Just literally drill my holes for my winch and mount that and run power. So that for me was totally worth it. I am waiting on some steps for it to come in to get on and off the deck. And then the spare tire. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so the spare tire dilemma that we went through. We ended up just getting a loose spare tire. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. We want to mount it somewhere to keep it with us, but then we said in the meantime we'll just get the spare. So traditionally what they do at Diamond C, which kind of ended up fighting us, not Diamond C themselves, but just became a problem with this specific option. We wanted the HDV tongue lid because of the amount of storage space inside. Right? Like if you didn't get this big lid, all this componentry would be crammed into this. Probably this right here would be the regular size toolbox. So this all moves up, and then you don't have much room for chains and binders, which I know we needed a lot of those for this trailer. So one option would be to put the spare tire right here, standing up, mounted, but A, HDV tongue lid in the way, B, this bar here is in the way, the crossbar for the jack handles. So we couldn't do that. So the next option would have been mounting on the side of the tongue, like right here. But a height issue was a concern because of our dump bed hanging over, swinging and hitting it. So I did ask if they would put it under. I asked our salesman if they'd put it underneath, and he said no. So we ended up just with a loose spare tire. What I might do is mount it up underneath the deck, like if I lift the deck up in between the frame rails and just put it in there. Or I'm thinking about maybe building a mount and putting it right here on top of the deck because it's only going to take up 12 inches on one side. It's not a big deal to me. So we'll see about that. That's kind of our dilemma so far. One other thing I will note is I wish they would have painted the bottom of the jacks, because those are out and exposed. And the last thing, the only complaint so far, and I just got the thing, so I haven't even used it, but I don't know if you can see how much water got in this box. I wish this thing was sealed off a little bit better. Like if they would have used like a foam tape or something right along here. That way when you close the door, there's no way for water to get in there. Or less water to get in there. It's not a huge deal, but I don't like dealing with wet straps, so maybe that's, I mean, that seems like something small. I mean, I could take care of that myself, probably. I probably end up will. But if Diamond C is actually watching this, something just to take into account. My one other concern with this type of trailer, which I don't know for sure how it's going to work yet, and it's something that we had to deal with basically. If I hold the skid steer with an attachment, where do I put the attachment? Do I put the attachment on the deck first, strap it down, then lift the deck up and then bring the machine up? Or should I bring the machine up, drop the attachment off, and then tie everything down? That's going to be a little issue for us because I like to haul a couple attachments at a time. So what are we going to do about that? I don't know. It's going to be a play with it. Well, the real thing isn't like, okay, so if I put the attachment on and secure it, is that deck lifting up going to be enough? Is that going to be too much for that the attachment will start sliding? I don't think it will, personally. If you get it on there and strap it down real tight, I don't think the degree is going to make it slide off the trailer. But it's something that we're going to have to kind of get taken care of now before we start using it. It's going to be like just a little trick that we're going to have to figure out. Another thing that we want the deck over tilt because we have a regular style trailer with the beaver tail and the ramps and all that. I'll show you that in a second because it's hooked up to a truck, which had some problems that were, not problems, but just issues that came up with it. We wanted something that we could pull something up on, or like this little walk behind pre-seater thing, like a Harley rake. It's too narrow to go up on a regular ramp style trailer. Well, this is full width, full deck. You can fit anything up here, any side. I mean, something that's 18 inches wide or something that's 80 inches wide would fit on here, no problem. The MT85 is narrow. The ramps, I had to extend the ramps to be able to fit it. So this gave us the option of not having to do that. Or even a lawnmower. Pop the deck down. I got full 102 inches, or I think it's whatever, 96 inches. Full width to drive and load stuff up, which is what we wanted. And it also gives us some more deck space rather than with the beaver tail. The beaver tail would probably start right about here, I would say. So this we got an extra 6 feet of deck space that we don't have on the other one. Our other one's a 22 foot with a 4 foot beaver tail. No, overall length 22 feet with the beaver tail. So that gives us 18 feet of flat deck and 4 feet of beaver tail. This one's flat 24 feet. What was I going to say? The overall length is the exact same. If you had the ramps flipped up, the kickstands for them, they're exactly the same length, which is cool. So we're getting 2 feet more of deck, same size length trailer, and yeah. So let's go take a sneak peek at that trailer. I'll show you some of the things that made us go this direction versus just another regular equipment trailer. Alright, you guys have seen this trailer before in some of my videos if you've been sticking around. This is an Appalachian trailer. 7,000 pound axles, no big deal, whatever. We like it for what it is. But, now that I start comparing them side by side, I'm starting to look at things and go, wow. You know what, I haven't even looked at this one compared to that one because this one's been out of town, but I talked about the jack handle, or the jacks. We had to remove the handle on this jack. I had to make this handle removable because of the deck hitting this. Why is it not seen right? Yeah, so on the Diamond C, if we would have done one jack, it would have been way up here, which is like, hitting this. And this jack, the way it is, when you start swinging the handle around, your hand will hit this. So that kind of sucks. So that's why we went with 2 jacks. back all the way back here. That way when you turn, this corner of the truck will swing right past it. It should go somewhere in here. But I mean, you're making a super sharp turn if you're doing that. Now this trailer does have a lot of storage space, and you can see our storage space here is pretty full. I think I got 6 ratchet straps, 4 binders, 6 chains, some blocks of wood or handle, and then up here I got some boatload of bungees for tarps. This is the foam I was talking about for sealing off. I just put this on here because I was annoyed with how much this door rattles when the thing's going down the road. If you hit a bump or something, it's like, and that's pretty annoying to me, so I put those on there for dampening. But something like that, just to seal the other door off, would be great. The hinge on this thing. This one's also got the kickstand, with the leg step to get up in there. I have one coming, but it's just going to be a stake pocket mount. I wanted one up underneath, but I was too late on that. So, you know, twin jacks in the front, like I said, that was kind of what we went with because of the deck. And it also makes it a lot easier getting over the deck, which is kind of nice to cross over. 2 7,000-pound axles on this one, greasable. It holds the weight. We're blowing through trailer tires on it, which kind of sucks. I don't like that. We're going through a lot of tires. Like every year it gets a whole new set of tires. It seems like the axle on this one is a little farther back than on the other one, which I think's all right, because when we load our equipment, like a whole bulk of the machine, it's like right here. So that's a little different. That should hopefully put the weight of the machine a little bit farther forward and utilize our deck space better. I talked about the beaver tail. You can see how much space is really not usable deck space. Like if I wanted to put a pallet or something on there, forget about it. You know, I can back the machine up and put my bucket on there, but that's about it. And the ramps. Yeah, so these ramps slide in and out. When I had these things all the way in, I still can't fit our MT85 up here. I had to weld an extension on. I put a piece of angle iron on here and brought in a couple extra 3 or 4 inches of steel on both ramps to be able to fit the MT85 on here, because the ramps only come together so small. So that was the other thing behind the full deck, was the ability to put any piece of equipment on there without having a budge or whatnot. We got rid of our lawn mowing trailers, our open trailers. So we needed something, if you know our 2 mowing trailers went down, or really 3 went down, we could still use this big trailer for mowing. I mean, that's obviously worst case scenario, but we could put mowers on it pretty easily and quickly. So that's kind of why we went that route. Anything we can put on there, we could tow a pickup truck up there if we had a Chevy breakdown. You know, they're pretty easy to push or tow, so we can get those right up on the deck with a winch that will come on eventually. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you got any other questions about this trailer, drop them in the comments. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Check out Diamond C's website. Super sweet. Gives you a lot of information, a lot of videos. They're pretty popular on YouTube, making videos as well, talking about all their innovations. They got some pretty cool stuff coming out, like a pop-up winch. I just saw that today, which is, you know, these guys are cutting edge, leading the line in quality and everything else. So we kind of went well out of our way to get something that was very nice like this. So if you got any questions, yeah, drop them in the comments. Check out their website, build and price tool. You can spec out whatever you wanted. So if you guys like the video, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Drop down in the comments, what are we going to put this time? Diamond C for the win, if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Diamond C for the win. If you watched all the way to the video, that lets me know that you like the videos that I'm putting out. So, as always, we'll see you in the next one.